Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to Jinkajabo. October is finally here, and so the weather is quite nice out here in Hanoi. And I've decided that I'm going to try to make a daily broadcast, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out, but we need to start making more videos, that's what I think. Anyway, I wanted to talk about Hanoi's drug problem. We talked about the dog meat problem yesterday, but I wanted to talk about the drug problem here. And there are a lot of drugs in Hanoi, but specifically I wanted to talk about nitrous oxide. And this last incident that happened a month ago, or just a couple weeks ago, and this is from vnexpress.net, VN Express International. Hanoi suspends music fest after drug overdose deaths, and this was on September 17th. All music festivals in Hanoi have been suspended until further notice, authorities announced Monday. The announcement followed the deaths of 7 people of suspected drug overdose at a local music festival Sunday night. Chuang Ming Tien, Deputy Director of Hanoi's Department of Culture and Sport, announced the decision at a press conference. The tragic incident took place at the Vietnam Electronic Weekend Festival at the Westlake Water Park in Tay Ho District. 5 died in E Hospital, a general public hospital 7 kilometers away. 2 died at the Hanoi Hospital, and 5 others are currently comatose, said a representative from the Ministry of Health. All the 12 people between 18 and 29 years old tested positive for narcotics. I had heard that there was a Westerner, someone from France, was part of this group, but I've heard contradicting things. Maybe that wasn't the case. Anyway, what got me thinking about this again is I ran into an Australian friend for coffee yesterday, and she was telling me about this whole scene, because it happened in Tay Ho, and that's her neighborhood. Tay Ho is sort of the Soto Sopa, shitty part of town that we have here in Hanoi, where it's mostly Westerners, foreigners, and expensive shops, and Starbucks and all that. But they do have these big music festivals, and these music festivals are notoriously filled with drugs. And in my time out in Vietnam, I've seen and been around ecstasy and cocaine and all this stuff. I mean, people will hawk it on the streets depending on where you go. And that's sort of an unspoken problem in Vietnam. That's something that people don't really talk about, but it is a serious concern here. In some ways, like it's a bit lawless. There's an odd thing about living in communist countries. You go here expecting that everything will be tightly controlled and monitored, but really it's quite the opposite out here in Vietnam and in China as well. A big problem has been nitrous oxide, and I'm not sure if those who died at this festival, but this reminds me of another story which I wasn't able to find. It's harder to do these internet searches in Vietnam concerning drug overdoses and problems like that. But I had heard that a 19-year-old boy in this bar that just opened, it was like a foreigner bar out in Westlake neighborhood, but this 19-year-old Vietnamese kid had a nitrous oxide balloon, laughing gas, nitrous oxide, and he passed out, as sometimes people do, and he was in the pool and there was no lifeguard or anything, and he passed out and he drowned underwater. And there are people walking around him. The party wasn't interrupted at all, and eventually just someone discovered that there was a body lifeless at the bottom of the pool. And that's just terrible. These balloons, they're illegal. And I remember when I first got here, I didn't see them much, but after a while you realize you go to bars and you see people with these huge balloons, and you learn what they're doing. And I've even tried them. It's really not that great. I don't know. It's sort of why not just hold your breath for 30 seconds or something? That's sort of what it is, but it just really knocks you out. I understand if I was going to the dentist or something, or if I needed anesthesia, but it strikes me as strange that it's a party drug. And it goes by the nickname of hippie crack out here. And there's a 7,000% markup on it. That's the thing. I've even seen on Facebook where you can get the nitrous oxide canisters, these huge cans, or I don't know what you call them, but these huge gas tanks. And if you charge $4 or $5 a balloon, you know, that's 7,000% markup, according to someone I know out here who has a bar. And so the money speaks for that. And so as long as people continue to make money at it, it's going to be a problem. And I think it's apropos that this article here, it says, well, Hanoi officials want to shut down music fests, want to suspend music, but really that's ignoring the real problem, and that is the pervasive, ubiquitous drug use that happens in Hanoi, and it's something that we all need to bear in mind. And so it being October, just like Joe Rogan says, it's Sober October. So this is a time for all of us to take a step back from drugs and alcohol and do that in remembrance of these poor young people who've died out here in Hanoi. Over and out.